Good evening, students. It's Wendi Fraser from Canam here in Australia. Today I'm here with a lovely Canam student, Miss Fiona Gosh. We have been speaking. She's based here in Australia. So welcome, Fiona, to today's Ed Talk. I'd like you to give some advice to students, and I'm going to ask you a few questions so they really understand what life in Australia is like as an international student. So thanks again for joining me. So Fiona, I believe that you were counselled by the lovely Miss Debjani at our Kolkata office. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And where are you studying?
I am currently studying at Deakin University from the Burwood campus.
Lovely. And what are you studying?
I'm studying my master's in data science.
Okay. And tell the students who'll be listening to this session today, what's your overall view of your course at Deakin University, your experience as an international student at Deakin University?
The experience of me studying here is very different from that of India. Here I have at present 4 units in my course for my present trimester, and everything is very practical based. The professors do help us and they teach us the concepts, but at the end it's a lot of self learning which we have to do to complete the assignments and the tasks which are given on a weekly basis. So it has helped me to understand things better because there's a lot of self learning and research behind all the tasks we do. So it is really nice, and there are many there are many groups like the peer to peer learning groups, and the professors are also available out of the lecturers so that we can ask them doubts if we are stuck anywhere. In fact, there are sessions online which are available, as well as there are offline even sessions available where students can reach out to the professors or the senior students who are studying the same course in case of any difficulty. That can be either technical difficulty with installing any of the apps, or it can be anything related to the assignment. So it's quite good flowing, and everyone is really helpful over here, so not at all a problem. I'm really enjoying the course.
That's excellent. And where are you living? Are you living on campus or off campus?
I'm living off campus at
And how's
present.
that experience? Do you feel safe? Do you feel supported? Do you feel that your accommodation is good accommodation?
Yeah, I feel that the accommodation is quite safe and neat and tidy. I travel using the public transport from here, but it isn't a problem for me. And the room is quite big and spacious, and there's a lot of facilities available over here. Like I have my Wi-Fi and the other bills included in my rent. And I've also made friends around in the place where I'm staying at present. So it's quite nice, and I'm really liking staying here.
That's excellent. Now, I know you and I have had many communications by email as well as
Yeah.
conversation. And one of the things was around part time work. So,
Yes.
how long did it take you to find a part time job?
It took me roughly 2 months from the time I've arrived in Melbourne to find the part-time job. So I've applied online for the part-time job as well as in person gone and given my resumes wherever there were vacancies available.
You're now working, and what are you
Yeah.
doing?
So at present, I am working in Baker's Delight in Forest Hill, where my work is to do the cleaning while the shift is towards the end of the day, and also to serve the customers in the front end. And it is
Excellent.
really going on well. It's been around 3 weeks that I'm doing this part-time job now.
So, can you
Yeah.
tell students what you earn in your part time job per hour?
Yeah, so at present I'm earning $25.65 per hour, my part-time job, and from there my tax is deducted when I get the salary in the account.
But you also get superannuation.
Yes, I do get
So,
superannuation.
so we'll explain that to international students what it means. So, it means that employers must pay on top of your salary 11.5% into a government account. So, when you reach retirement age, you could end up having $1 million from working throughout your whole working life. However, if you decide to go back to India after you've done your post-study work rights, or you've worked in the Australian market for many years, but you decide to return home, you can actually withdraw all of that money that has been saved all through your working time in Australia. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So, as you said, you're getting $25.67 an hour. But if you were to work on public holidays in Australia, do you know what your hourly rate would be?
I am not sure, but it is quite a lot more than this. Like for Saturday, Sundays only, it is more. Like for Saturdays, it is $32 per hour, and for Sundays, it's $38 per hour. And
Correct.
during the winter casuals, like the Christmas casuals which are coming, the pays are even more for that.
That's right. So you could really say that it's double $25.67 an hour. It'll be around $51 an hour that you will earn part-time work. So the salaries in Australia are very good. One of the things that you've heard me say when I've done orientation is do not bring Indian food. Do not pack food in your suitcase. You attended
Mm.
the orientation, you told me,
Yes.
and you took all the advice that I gave in the orientation. Please tell students how easy it is to obtain beautiful Indian food at grocers, at restaurants. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So as ma'am said, I had attended her session 2 days before my flight. And even though I had packed all my Indian food, I just took everything out because I was scared it shouldn't be a problem in the airport. And thankfully I took it out because some of my friends did face penalties and charges because they had the food. So I didn't bring any food from India, and I bought everything over here. And each and everything which you find get in India is available over here, be it your Maggie or your cupcakes or your biscuits or the spices, everything is available. Like just an hour back, I went to an Indian supermarket and I bought my all the spices to make food. And I cook Indian food only over here. So, and I use Indian spices. So I buy it from the Indian supermarket, or here we have a very famous market over here, the supermarket that's Coles. You even get some of the Indian products there. So it's not that you won't get anything, you'll get everything over here and it's all easily available.
And one of the things I talk about is to pack good quality warm jackets because Australia can be a little bit expensive for clothing and it also gets cold on the plane. And you told me that you packed a jacket and you needed it on the plane. And, you know, whether you land at nighttime or morning, if you're coming during the winter months, Melbourne has 4 seasons in one day. So it can start off freezing cold and then by lunchtime, it can warm up. So you need to wear lots of layers. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, important to definitely pack the things that we have in our pre-departure list. Would you agree with that comment?
Yeah, I would. Like,
And
it is very necessary to pack warm clothes because the cold in India is very different from that in Australia. It is very, very, very windy over here. And
now,
even if the temperature is not that low, it's so windy that you will feel very cold. So, warm clothes is a must.
if you're coming to Melbourne, definitely, and Adelaide and Tasmania. One of the things that I learned from you, which I'm now going to add to my pre-departure, is that when you landed at Melbourne Airport, you had a driver come up to you, a taxi driver, and offer to take you to your accommodation. And I will now add to my pre-departure, never ever get into one of those taxis that come up to you. You always go directly to the taxi rank or to the Uber or to the Sky Bus because I've now learned that you've paid way too much to go from the airport to your accommodation. So let's talk about some fun things that you and I have spoken about. I told you that I remember my first Indian student back in the 1990s said to me, "Oh, ma'am, the sky is so beautiful. It just twinkles at nighttime. It's
Yeah.
mesmerizing." What do you think? What have you got to say about
Yeah,
everything? Yeah,
I agree with that. The sky looks beautiful, and every single day the sunset is different. And
yeah.
it's beautiful every single day. Like I like looking at the sky. And every day when I'm coming out of college, like whenever I have classes, it's around 5:30 that I get over with my lectures. And there's this long bridge which we have to cross to go to the bus stop. And the sky looks so beautiful from there. I love looking at the sunsets over here. And the clouds over here are so white and fluffy.
They are.
Every-
I didn't think of that. They're very white
Yeah,
and fluffy.
there
Yeah.
is so less pollution over here that it is more green and beautiful, and the blossoms around.
So, as an international student who's come to Australia, please tell students what your view is, what they need to do to prepare to be successful, the mindset that they need. What advice do you have for anyone considering coming to study in Australia? Because I can tell them through many years of experience, but I want them to hear from someone who's enjoying their studies. I believe you got very much involved in orientation. You went to the
Yeah,
orientation, you did what I said, which
yeah.
I think that is imperative to talk about why it's important to go to orientation week. But yeah, please give students your tips, your tricks, your advice about studying in Australia.
Yeah. So first, as ma'am said, orientation week is important because that's where we learn where what is there in the university, because the university is quite huge and all the buildings have different names. And in the orientation week, they actually tell us how to find the building and how to understand which building number is where and what is the floor number, because there's a different pattern which they follow in naming each classroom and each building. So that's what we get to know in the orientation week, and meet the professors, and have a little bit of conversation with the professors out of our studies, with how the life is about over here and everything. And also get to know other people coming from elsewhere, because like I was alone over here when I came. I hardly knew, maybe I just knew one person over here, and she was not from my class. So, through the orientation week, I got to know people from my class and from other courses too. Another thing I would recommend everyone is to be firm on what you have decided for yourself. Over here, you will make friends and you will talk to multiple people, and everybody will give you different advices about how you should go about with finding a job, how you should go about with looking for accommodation, how you should plan your studies and everything. And at times it becomes very overwhelming and it becomes very confusing to understand what you want. But you should be firm as to what you have decided for yourself and what your target is. And I feel that no one knows better than me what is good for myself, because I know what position I am in, what are my situations around, and I know the best what can be done for it. Others from a second perspective cannot judge that. So there'll be many people to confuse you. Like many of my friends told me that start looking for jobs after 1 month of your classes get over. So, but I did not listen to them. I just nodded my head. I was like, okay, fine, I'll see. But I started looking for my job as soon as my classes started. From the second week, I started applying for my part-time job. And so, like, you need to do it your way. There will be many people advising you, but at the end, you have come over here alone, and everyone is not going to be there 24/7 with you. So you need to understand what is good for you and do it accordingly. Or else it becomes very confusing if you go to listen to everybody and do like how they want. So you need to be firm on what you have decided for yourself. That is the most important thing I feel is to survive over here.
And that's really great advice because, yes, you get other students telling you advice. You might even have students that are working for other agents and they haven't got your best interest at heart. And Canam's done the counselling. We know what your goal was when you were in India and what it is that you want to achieve. And we want to stay in touch with our students. I'm here in Australia. I'm here to support you. I know you and I had to work on your resume a little bit and I had to give you some guidance. And thank goodness you found your job, which was as excellent. And I think that's the other thing is students need to work on their resume before they come to Australia. And I'm happy to see their resume because as you have discovered, the resume you will submit in Australia is very different to a resume that you would write back in India. And I always recommend that you use the tools like Seek because they have a good resume writing template. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and I know that you used that and that was helpful to you. Um, what other advice would you give? So we talked about orientation. It's really important because it's proven students, you don't just meet your professors and find your classrooms. You, as you said, you meet other students, you form friendships, yeah, and you also do fun activities. don't you? You do some
Yes,
fun
yes.
activities.
There
Yeah.
were many activities, like there was quiz, and there was, like, for example, there was this one event, Friday with Friends, which happened in the first month of the trimester on every Fridays. The main aim of the event was to get to know more people. It was for especially for international students, and my group of friends which I have right now most of them are the friends I made from Friday with Friends. So it's like a small gathering for around 2 hours. People come around, they have snacks and they talk to each other. There are small games going on. There was there was a treasure hunt and trivia and other small games to know each other. And yeah, many people have made friends from there. So there are these events, and you get to know all these when you attend the orientation week, because that's when they give you the information about all these things going around.
That's excellent advice, Fiona. So you're enjoying life in Australia. You're not missing out on your Indian food. And I think you even told me that you get some free Indian food some days. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, yes. So like there are at times there are events going on in the university where they give us free food from all the associations which are there. So one of the associations, they once gave us Indian food. And some days back I went for Ganesh Chaturthi at Monash University. Over there also we got Indian food.
Excellent. And you've also attended a career event, haven't you, in your short time that you've been
Yeah.
studying at Deakin University? So there is a lot of support that your university gives international students, not just from the study side, but the welfare side, the student support, the career. There's lots of different services. So you would highly recommend Deakin University as a university for students?
Yeah, surely. Like, apart from studies, there is a lot more. There's always something going on in the university, and you really get to meet a variety of people from different parts of the world. And it's a really, really nice campus, very lovely campus with really lovely people around. And it is nice. I would recommend anyone who is opting for Australia to try and Deakin University.
Excellent. And one of the last things that I'll probably ask you, we did talk about your accommodation. Would you advise any student considering coming to Australia that they speak to their Canam consultant to sort out their accommodation and stay within a university's accommodation circle? So that they're making
Yeah.
friends, that it's safe, it's clean. Would you recommend that they do that instead of trying to find their own accommodation?
Yeah, so like when I was searching for my accommodation, I did consult Canam Consultancy for my accommodation details. But at that time, there weren't any accommodations available in the university campus. That was my first option, but there weren't any available rooms, so I couldn't take there. But then Canam Consultancy only helped me connect with one of the current students from here who helped me out getting the accommodation. So yeah, I would recommend everyone to please talk to your advisor at Canam Consultancy, because over here, like many a times, even a lot of fraud happens with the accommodation too. So it is difficult for us to stay overseas and understand if the process, what is happening, is genuine or not. So, and many students I have seen, they came in the beginning and they stayed in Airbnb for 1 month, 1.5 month, which becomes very costly.
Very.
So, yeah, that's very expensive. And then they had to go searching for accommodations full days. They used to miss classes and go searching for accommodation, because you cannot be staying in Airbnb forever. So, I would recommend you reach out to your advisor, because they actually help you out. They helped me out get my accommodation. And once you have your accommodation finalized before coming here, that is the biggest worry. So you're tension free when you come over here.
And you use public transport to get around in Melbourne?
Yeah,
Yep.
I use public transport, even like from my accommodation to my university or my workplace. I use the public transport. I mostly use the bus, and everything is very easily available over here. Like, for example, there's this app, PTV app, which helps us understand the timing of, be it bus, tram, train, everything. So you can leave home looking at the timing. If 10 minutes are left, okay, I leave home 10 minutes before, not beforehand, and keep sitting over there. So it is quite easy to navigate what are the timings of the transport and accordingly plan out your day.
And it's definitely not like Indian transport, not crowded like Indian
It's not
transport.
crowded, it is so empty.
Yeah, it's excellent, isn't it? So overall, you love Australia. I think when you and I spoke, it's helped you as an individual find your true strengths. You found your strengths and you know that you can achieve things. It's made you realize that you are more capable than what you told me, than what you thought you were. You
Yeah.
like really said surprised you, and you've become a clean freak. You're always cleaning your accommodation. You love your accommodation. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you
I
telling me
love
that.
my room.
Do your friends think you clean it before they come and visit? But you do it
Yeah,
every
they are like, did you do it because we came, or do you keep doing this? I'm like, no, this is like this every day, and they were so shocked.
So when you finish your studies, I know it's some time away because you're doing a master's and you've just started.
Yeah.
What is your plan? Do you want to stay and do post-study work rights in Australia?
Yes, I plan to stay back in Australia and apply for my post-study work permit and work over here.
Yeah, excellent. And remain in Melbourne?
I have not yet decided if I will be remaining in Melbourne. Maybe after some years, I might want to change the city or maybe stay here. That I will decide as and when, however things are. But yeah, directly after my studies, I will be staying in Melbourne for some years and then accordingly decide what I have to do further on.
Well, I wish you great success. I know you're going to succeed. I know from having spoken to you how committed you are, how enthusiastic you are, how you're embracing the Australian culture. And the Australian culture is not one culture because we are many cultures. You know, we are Indian, we are Chinese, we are Korean, we are Japanese. You know, Australia is so we're the only country in the world that is so multicultural. You will find people every day, will eat different foods, So thank you for embracing Australia and loving the country that I was born in. That makes me so happy and so proud of my country. And also to know that you, as an international student, are enjoying your time. You're just going to succeed. I just know you are. And I look forward to being invited to attend your graduation when you
Yes,
graduate.
sure.
I will definitely be coming to your graduation. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I hope that students that are considering Australia as a destination don't listen to all the hype in the media, don't listen to friends of a friend. That they're not the experts. Things change regularly, and we are the ones who know what is happening in the Australian market. And here we have Fiona, who's only been studying at Deakin for a short time, but is so enthusiastic and loving her time. So please talk to us back in India at Canam at one of our 35 plus offices. And if you're in Kolkata, definitely speak to Ms. Devjani and her team. I know she's got lots of students studying in Australia that are just enjoying Australia just like you are, Fiona. They're just loving
Yeah.
it. So, yeah. So thank you, and keep looking up at the stars and watching those fluffy clouds. And
Yeah.
and remember to stay in contact with me. You have my number. And
Yeah.
thank you so much today for giving students your perspective of Australia. And I hope that they do consider Australia as a destination. Go enjoy your Sunday night. I know you've been working, and go cook your Indian food. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.